The house slept. Silence, deep and still, blanketed Klara's room, yet something stirred. A rhythmic pulse, slow and deliberate, began to thrum. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The grandfather clock, a looming mahogany sentinel in the hall, had awakened. Klara, nestled in her blankets, felt a prickle on her skin. The clock's rhythm was off, no longer the comforting lullaby she knew. Each tick was heavy, each tock a whispered threat. She tossed restlessly, her dreams invaded by the unsettling cadence. The sound grew, insistent, demanding. Klara threw off her blankets. She had to see, she had to know why the clock, silent for years, had chosen this night to sing its ominous song. Bare feet sinking into the plush carpet, Klara crept down the hallway. Shadows stretched from the corners, reaching for her like grasping fingers. The air, usually filled with the comforting scent of her mother's baking, was stale, heavy. Moonlight, fractured by the stained glass window, painted the grandfather clock in hues of blue and silver. Its pendulum swung with hypnotic precision, each arc a metronome counting down to some unknown event. As Klara neared, a shiver coursed through her. The ticking was louder now, a frantic tattoo against the silence of the house. And then she heard it, a whisper, soft as a breath against her ear. Klara. The clock had spoken her name. Fear, cold and sharp, cut through Klara's wonder. She should run. She should wake her parents, but the whisper, laced with an odd urgency, held her captive. It was her name, her destiny, being called. Drawn by an invisible thread, Klara reached out. Her fingers touched the cool, polished wood of the clock face. The whisper intensified, swirling around her like a gentle wind. Klara, find the key to time. As Klara stared at the intricate carvings on the clock's surface, one particular detail seemed to shift and shimmer in the moonlight. A small, almost invisible keyhole, hidden amongst the ornate designs, materialized before her eyes. Instinctively, Klara knew what to do. She had to unlock the secrets hidden within the clock. Behind the old grandfather clock, in the dimly lit corner of the room, there was a sense of mystery that seemed to hang in the air. In Klara's grandfather's desk drawer, a place she had rarely ventured, lay hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. Amongst the clutter of fountain pens and forgotten stamps lay a tiny silver key, its presence almost ethereal. It was ornate and delicate, the handle shaped like a miniature sundial, intricate designs etched into its surface. The moment Klara touched it, she felt a jolt, a strange hum of energy that seemed to resonate deep within her bones. This was no ordinary key. It held a power, a secret that had been hidden away for generations. With trembling fingers, she inserted the key into the hidden keyhole, her heart pounding in her chest. It turned with a soft click, and the clock face swung inwards, revealing a passage cloaked in swirling mist, an entrance to another world. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of ozone and ancient parchment, a blend of the old and the mystical. The whispering voice, closer now, urged her forward, its tone both urgent and comforting. "Hurry, Klara, time is slipping away." The words echoed in her mind, a reminder of the fleeting nature of time. Hesitantly, Klara stepped into the clock, her steps tentative yet determined, driven by an unexplainable force. The mist enveloped her, cold and damp against her skin, sending shivers down her spine. Then, just as abruptly, it cleared, revealing a new world before her eyes. Klara found herself in a circular room, dimly lit by flickering lanterns that hung from the vaulted ceiling, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Gears and cogs of every size imaginable lined the walls, their metallic surfaces reflecting the lantern light in a dizzying display, creating a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow. The air thrummed with the rhythmic pulse of a giant heart, the very heart of time itself, beating steadily, a reminder of the passage of every second. In the center of the room, a figure sat hunched over an enormous, intricately designed astrolabe. The room was dimly lit, casting long shadows that danced across the walls, adorned with strange symbols and gears that seemed to move on their own. He wore a long, flowing robe the color of midnight, his face obscured by the deep cowl pulled over his head. The robe shimmered faintly as if woven from the very fabric of the night sky, dotted with tiny, glimmering stars. As Klara approached, he slowly raised his head, and Klara gasped. She had never seen eyes like his before, eyes that seemed to hold the weight of countless ages, eyes that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. The guardian of time, for who else could it be, had a face etched with centuries, his eyes like pools of molten silver. His gaze was both kind and sorrowful, as if he carried the memories of every moment that had ever passed. They held an ancient wisdom, a deep understanding of the universe's intricate workings. It was as if he could see the threads of time itself, weaving through the fabric of reality. And yet in their depths, Klara saw a glimmer of sadness, a burden weighing heavily upon him. It was the sadness of someone who had seen too much, who had borne witness to the endless march of time and the inevitable decay it brought. "Welcome, Klara." His voice, when he spoke, was deep and resonant, echoing strangely in the cavernous chamber. It was a voice that commanded attention, that seemed to reverberate through the very bones of the room. "You have answered the call of the clock, the call of time itself. Few are chosen, and fewer still have the courage to heed its summons. You are here for a reason. Time has a purpose for you, a role that only you can fulfill." Klara, her fear giving way to a strange sense of awe, could only nod. Her heart pounding in her chest, she felt a connection to this place, to this moment, as if she had been destined to be here all along. What did it all mean? Why was she here? The questions swirled in her mind, but deep down, she knew that the answers would come in time. For now she had to trust in the Guardian and the path that lay before her. The Guardian of Time gestured to the astrolabe, its intricate network of rings and pointers spinning wildly. "Do you see this, Klara? This is the fabric of time, and it is unraveling. The balance has been disrupted." "But how?" Klara whispered, her eyes wide with confusion. "What happened?" A deep sigh seemed to emanate from the very walls of the chamber. "This clock," the Guardian began, his voice heavy with sorrow. "It is no ordinary timepiece. It is a guardian, a keeper of balance. For generations, your family has been entrusted with its care. For it is through this clock that the flow of time is maintained." He paused, his gaze piercing Clara's heart. "But your family, Klara, they have forgotten their duty. They have let the clock fall silent, have neglected its power. And now, time itself is paying the price." Klara stared at the chaotic dance of the astrolabe, its once harmonious movements now erratic and unpredictable. The Guardian's words echoed in her ears: forgotten duty, neglected power, time paying the price. A cold dread settled in her stomach. "What will happen?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "What happens if time unravels?" The Guardian of Time turned his ancient gaze upon her, his silver eyes filled with the terrible knowledge. "Time lost is time forever gone, Klara," he said softly. "Moments will vanish, memories will fade, and the world as we know it will cease to be." He placed a hand, gnarled with age, on her shoulder. "But there is still hope, child. You, Klara, you can still set things right." Klara, her young mind struggling to grasp the enormity of the situation, felt a surge of determination. She wouldn't let time unravel. She wouldn't let the world disappear. "What do I have to do?" Klara asked, her voice firm despite the tremor in her heart. The Guardian of Time nodded slowly, a glimmer of hope flickering in his eyes. "The clock, Klara, it holds the key to restoring balance," he said. "But the path is fraught with challenges. You must journey through the corridors of time itself, face trials that will test your courage and your wit." He pointed to a narrow archway that shimmered at the edge of the chamber, an ethereal pathway beckoning her forward. "That corridor, Klara, will lead you to the heart of the clock, to the source of the disruption. But be warned, child, time moves differently within these walls. What seems like minutes could be hours, and hours could be lifetimes." Fear pricked at Clara's courage, but she pushed it down, her resolve hardening. She had to do this for her family, for the world, for time itself. Taking a deep breath, Klara stepped towards the shimmering archway. The air around her seemed to hum with anticipation, as if the very fabric of reality was holding its breath. She hesitated for a moment, feeling the weight of the unknown pressing down on her shoulders, but then she took a decisive step forward. As she passed through, she felt a strange disorientation, a sense of being unmoored from reality. It was as if the world she knew had dissolved, replaced by a swirling vortex of colors and sounds that defied logic. Her senses were overwhelmed, and she struggled to find her footing in this new, bewildering environment. The air crackled with energy, and the rhythmic pulse of the clock's heart intensified, urging her onward. Each tick seemed to echo in her mind, a constant reminder of the passage of time and the urgency of her mission. Her heartbeat synchronized with the clock's, creating a symphony of determination and resolve. The corridor stretched before her, a seemingly endless labyrinth bathed in an ethereal glow. The walls shimmered with a soft, otherworldly light, casting long shadows that danced and flickered as she moved. It was a place of both beauty and danger, a maze that promised both discovery and peril. Strange symbols, ancient and indecipherable, adorned the walls, pulsing with an inner light. They seemed to whisper secrets of the past, tales of forgotten civilizations and lost knowledge. Klara felt a connection to these symbols, as if they were guiding her, leading her towards her destiny. She could hear the whisper of voices, echoes of moments lost and found, swirling around her like leaves caught in a sudden gust of wind. These voices were both comforting and unsettling, a reminder of the countless souls who had walked this path before her. They seemed to urge her forward, encouraging her to continue despite her fears. Klara, clutching the tiny silver key in her hand, took a step forward, then another. The adventure had begun. Each step was a testament to her courage, a declaration of her willingness to face the unknown. The key felt warm in her hand, a symbol of hope and possibility. She was walking into the heart of time, ready to face whatever trials awaited her. The path ahead was uncertain, but Klara knew that she had the strength and determination to overcome any obstacle. She was prepared to confront the challenges that lay ahead, to unravel the mysteries of the labyrinth. The fate of the world, the rhythm of existence, rested on her young shoulders. It was a heavy burden, but one she was willing to bear. Klara understood the gravity of her mission, the importance of her journey. She was determined to succeed, to protect the delicate balance of time and reality. And Klara, armed with courage and a heart full of hope, was determined to succeed. Her spirit was unyielding, her resolve unwavering. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but she was ready to face it all with bravery and optimism. The labyrinth was just the beginning of her epic journey.